Hello, everyone. This is Jackie Martin with A Matter of Motivation and Be More Learning. So excited to share another pop-up positivity interview. And today we have my good friend, Andrew Bell. Andrew has been in so many areas of our lives have intersected in business and in different leadership realms. So excited you're here, Andrew. And
Happy to
he's
be
with
here.
Affinity Bank, but you know what? I want you to tell us more about you. So give us a little bit of your background, Andrew.
Yes, so grew up in Eastern North Carolina, had the pleasure of playing baseball in college there, graduated, moved to Georgia, went to grad school, got into banking. Actually, banking found me. Have been in banking from a part-time teller to what I do now in commercial business development for the last 20 years. Very involved in my church, in my community. I'm getting married in August. I'm the proud parent of a 6-year-old chocolate lab named Sadie. She's around here somewhere. And very involved in the community, from chambers to Leadership for Sight, and as well as my church. And so that's a little bit about me.
That's awesome. Well, Andrew, some of these things that you said you've been involved with, especially Leadership for Sight or Chamber and things like that, you and I have shared together. And so my question, just out of the gate, this is pop-up positivity.
Right.
You have been an influencer in our community. Tell me what sort of got you started on all that. Why are you as involved as you are?
It's a great question. And I think from a young age, I either grew into or was led in a direction to have a servant's heart by my parents and my church. That was, when volunteer experience looked good on a college application. So from a young age, food drives and, just raising funds, money like that. And I think that I do have a servant's heart. And as I've grown, I've realized that in business, if you give before you ask, it comes back in spades. And I think that that has evolved into my spiritual life, my community. I want to raise my future children in a community that love each other. And I think that, and then getting a job in banking, my why is to help people. Banking, I've always said, when banking stops giving me the opportunity to help people, I'm out. I'm done. I'll find something else. I'm thankful that banking has allowed that, and chambers and Leadership for Sight and other organizations are the catalyst to my own why, but it is the what keeps the world going round. So
I love that, and I know you walk your talk on that, because you and I were working together with a Leadership for Sight youth a couple years ago, and I'm just, this kind of really a sidebar thought is. What have you noticed with respect to these younger generations? You were talking about raising a child in the community so they have that servant's heart. But are you noticing that desire to help and give back to the community is strong in these newer generations?
To be honest, it's mixed reviews. The kids that we were with, they're the best of the best. And man, they run circles around a 17-year-old version of me. And I was just in awe of these kids, and my prayer is that by them leading by example, their peers are admiring them and emulating after them, and that they're showing their parents how to lead, and I know that's happening. I hate these things, and that's my biggest thing is I think that no different than why you're doing these messages is we've got to focus on the positives. We've got to put the devices down. We've got to roll up our sleeves and lead by example. And so my prayer is that those 16 and 17-year-olds in Forsyth County and across this nation are going to continue to lead the way they are, and that it rubs off on people.
Well, so it's interesting. I've had lots of great philosophical conversations about what this circumstance we're going through right now is going to leave us. And one of the questions I've been asking everybody is, who do you want to be when you come out on the other side? Students, of course, but also professionals like yourself,
Oh yeah.
because we've all been through enormous change. Who do you want to be coming out of this?
You know, that's a huge question. Personally, I want to be healthier. I want to be more connected and present. I think that this has focused me personally on being more intentional. Stop assuming. I just assume that my friends are good, or I assume that my whoever is okay, and don't hide behind a face. I'm not on FaceSpace, but don't hide behind a Facebook post, or don't hide behind an email. Not that it's just a default. Pick up the phone, and make a phone call. And so I think personally, my fiance and I have grown through this. We've said this is kind of like pre-quarantine counseling for marriage, right? Like if we can make it through
trial
if
run
we can make it through quarantine, we can do through anything. I said, but on a business side, more present as well, more intentional, more calculated in an efficiency way, and measure twice, cut once. And we in business, especially in banking, a lot of times it's just numbers. And I think what we realize is, and I've always I've always cared more about the person than I have about the numbers. And that's, but I think now more than ever, just asking someone, how the heck are you? Before we ever talk about a line of credit or buying a business or whatever, just how are you? How's your family? How's your psyche? I think that's my hope, is I come out of this and we're more focused in that regard.
Nice. You said something too about I loved the intentional part. And I think some of what we've always taken for granted. I mean, we've always taken for granted that the money will be there. We've always taken for granted, at least lately in the last decade or so, that business trends are going to go up, or the stock market's going to go up. There's like assumptions, you said. I don't want to make assumptions anymore. I think that's really wise going forward to help but also to help your clients.
Sure.
That way too. So have you been sharing any of these thoughts with them as well?
100 times. If I said it once, I've said it 1,000 times through this, whether it be just general business practices, whether it be the SBA loan processes. My job, I don't associate with the word banker anymore. I think bankers are boring, fat, and bald. I got the bald and the fat part down, but it's like they're transactional. And I think that plagues a lot of industries. I said, but I want to be more of an advisor and a consultant. I think that's why our hearts are the same in a lot of ways. Is my job is not necessarily to do all the rainbows and sunshines, but cover your blind spots. Like if you walked in tomorrow and your computers didn't work, could you still operate? Well, or if you woke up tomorrow and won the lottery and moved to Aruba, do your employees still have a job? It's not a fun talk, but it's my job to cover those blind spots. And I think that what this has done is I think it's woken a lot of business owners up. And we have short-term memories in a lot of ways, or selective memories, and it wasn't too long ago we had a recession. And we've been riding really good for 10 years. And a lot of people did not remember that. They didn't put money away. They did, So now it's like, okay, we've got your attention again. What are we doing? How are we going to get out of this? How are we going to pivot? If you're in a business in X and X is not there anymore, what's X plus look like? And that's an exciting thought to what we're moving ahead. And that's my job more of, typically bankers don't have those conversations, but advisors, consultants, de facto board of directors do. And that's what we want to try to do.
Well, so it's interesting that you say, I love the fact business owners have awakened right now. I mean,
Yeah,
kind of like people got thumped a little bit, just like back in 2008, 2007, 2008, 2009, even 9/11, people can remember the thump.
right.
And some of it is because of not, losing track of the fact that this can happen, and recognizing those blind spots. Now, some people would say, "Oh, Andrew, you're just being negative during all those times when you're trying to." It's not true, is it?
No, I'm going to listen. Listen, there's a reason why they don't give me the pen, because I'd be the Oprah of bank. I mean, everybody you get a loan and you get a loan. I mean, we would just be dropping them from airplanes. But we have to be realistic. I'm an eternal optimist. The glass is not just half full. I mean, the glass is to the brim. But there's the rose-colored glasses. I mean, we have to be positive. We have to be moving forward. We have to leave people better than when they found them. But at the same time, we can't neglect reality. And no different than medical malpractice on the banking side of things. I've always taken the approach of financial malpractice. If I'm not bringing this stuff up, I'm not doing my job. And so that's not being negative, as much as it is just talking about it, agreeing on a plan. And if you don't know where to go, let me bring my network. There's a burden of friendship. There's a burden that comes with us being connected, and that what's mine is yours. And if you've got a blind spot, then by God, I'm gonna find everything I can to fill that spot, because I need to sleep easy. I want to know that whenever we meet someone, whether they need an electrician or whether they need a good insurance agent, I've done my part. And so it's not negative as much as it is just slowing down to speed up.
Well, okay, I love that phrase. And I think maybe this whole period has forced us not just slow down, but to stop. And
Yeah.
and so sort of that circles back to helping other people decide what they want to be when we emerge in whatever form that's going to take over this next 6 months or years. And so trying to figure out, and I love the fact that you maybe are showing tough love.
Yeah. I do it with a smile on my face, and none of this is personal, but no one likes hearing that their puppy's ugly, right? No one, I mean, it may be the sweetest puppy in the world, but if it's one of those hairless things that, but at the same time, it's not that I'm calling your business ugly. It's not, that's not it at all. And if you didn't take it personal, I would have a problem with that, because you need to be invested. It needs to be personal.
Yeah.
But what would you rather do? Have us just have real good professional conversations about how to fix it, or go out of business? Like, which is and that's I think a harder conversation is going to my employees and saying, guess what? I didn't like talking reality, so you and your family don't have a job next week. Wow. That's what's at stake here. And we don't have to minimize it. I mean, but that's a tough day. And I am from rural Eastern North Carolina, where pigs and chickens outnumber humans 300-1, agriculture, blue collar, hardworking. I have seen people struggle mightily, and we can prevent some of those things.
Absolutely.
And that comes with tough love sometimes.
Yeah, well, and that's why I was I guess at this stage of where we are, and maybe it should be this way always, is that trying to capture the lessons,
Mm-hmm.
trying to learn what worked, what didn't work, what do we need to be doing different, and pivot, which seems to be a huge word today.
Right.
So how are you seeing people pivoting?
So I think they're using the positive of this quarantine, the positive of being at home, spending more time with our family, spending more time reading, being the positive of these devices if we're filtering the right amount of data, the continuing education, the continuing learning, the creativity that's coming from this quiet time is catapulting businesses into 2.0 versions of themselves, or 3.0 or 4.0s. And I think that's exciting. Realizing that I had a one-dimensional business before, but when I'm emerging out of this, I now need 4 different revenue streams, and they've used this downtime to think about what those are. Or I mean, you think about bylaws. How often should a company revisit their bylaws? How often should a company revisit their business plan? I think the only wrong answer in that, Jackie, is that you don't.
Yeah.
That's the only wrong answer. If you tell me every 6 months, I tell you that's a lot of work, but I'm not going to argue with you, because, man, you're dialed in. Once a year, once every 5 years, okay, that's even good too, because there are a lot of people who have been in business for 30 years and have bylaws dated 30 years ago. Mm. And so I think what they're learning, what these business owners are learning, is the value of a good network, the value of a good board of directors and advisors, an attorney, a banker, a CPA, a wealth advisor, an insurance agent, a business consultant like you. The value in that is immense. And if they didn't have it, then you know what? Number 1 through 5 items on the agenda is I've got to surround myself with better people. And then 2, all right, what happens what if this happens again? I don't like the way this feels. So you know what? I'm going to do everything I can to prevent it, because I don't like calling my employees and telling them you can't work next week.
Right. I mean, I think sometimes it depends on how we're wired up. Some of us move towards something we want to gain, which has propelled business and leaders and individuals toward amazing accomplishments. But I also think many of maybe all of us are in some areas wired up to only make change when we're forced to, or when we have to avoid that horrible conversation. Yeah. And so then we're willing to do the things it takes. So for you, let me just ask you, I've been asking people this every time I'm having a conversation. A friend of mine shared with me, it's really a phrase or a question, but as much a philosophy. And that is, whenever we're discussing change, whenever we're discussing frustration with an area or whatever, or something we are trying to decide whether we're going to take action on, she asks, what if it's better? Yeah. So I'm asking you, what's your sort of thought or take when you hear that question? Okay, Andrew, but what if it's better? What comes to mind for you?
You know, my thoughts and prayers through this whole thing have been, there's a reason why this is happening. And I think I've landed on that this is almost like a reset, that conversations I've had with friends of mine who are parents have said, we needed this as a family. I've reconnected with my wife. I've reconnected with my kids. We're not on we're putting puzzles together. We're doing things as a family we haven't done ever. People are getting healthier. I've lost weight just because you don't realize how much eating out, and and so my beautiful fiance, I mean, we're so focused on just how we feel and investing in ourselves. You would think that being home, you'd spend more time on the television or more time on the device when your people are reading more. And I think that my thought with this is it's serving as a reset. It's not punishment. Let's don't get into the why it's happening, as is the, okay, when we come out of this and it looks different for everyone, I'm going to call my parents more. I'm going to spend more time off my phone. I'm going to set healthy boundaries when I'm still going to wake up early, shower, shave, work out, eat a healthy breakfast, and focus on me, whether it's reading, self-help, or we're moving in a digital way where these devices do bring so much to us that can help us. But that slow down to speed up thing, this has really slowed us down. And that's my hope, is that when we come out of this, we've used this downtime not as a vacation. It's been nice to reset the bodies, rest the mind a little bit. But when we come out of this, we're more focused, more intentional, more efficient, care about people more, care about our families and ourselves more, and that's my hope.
I love that. And that is better. And I, as you were describing sort of setting up those goals, it made me think, is there something we could do? And I want to see if I can find an answer to this. So maybe you have one that can remind us of that, because, our short-term memories you were talking about earlier are going to happen with this too. It doesn't seem like that could be possible, but we're going to get a year or two down the road and we'll forget some of the stuff that we learned. So I wonder, any ideas? Just curious if you have an idea of how we can do it.
It's fun. I learned this from a friend of a friend about 2 years ago, and I love it. And this is the first thing that comes to mind. For those of us that are in positions that our passwords prompt us to change our password every 30 to 90 days, instead of making that password a different variety of your favorite sports team or your animal or a combination of a birth date and a street address, make it a 90-day goal. So I'll tell you what last 90 days it was stay focused. And so for 90 days, and I can tell you that because it's an old password, but for those 90 days, you think about how often, whatever device that is, whether it's Gmail, whether it's a work computer, whatever it is, 3, 4, 7 times a day for 90 straight days, you're reminded, stay focused, stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. And that's the first thing that comes to mind, because I think that whether it's read more, tell my wife I love her, feed water the plant,
call
whatever.
Your mother.
Yeah, call mom.
Call your mom.
Right? I mean,
yeah.
There's an anniversary coming up. Anniversary on this day. You've got a combinations of letters and numbers, right?
Nice.
But it's that, it's no different. It's the modern day sticky note you stick on the mirror, right? Or the picture of us back in my bikini days from high school, and it's like that's the focus. It's the new age sticky note on the mirror,
I love that idea. That is brilliant. Yeah. I grabbed a pen to write it down. I'm going to share. I'm going to share that. We're doing Be More virtually next Thursday, and we're going to talk to the parents about how to maintain some of this margin.
Right.
And so that's going to be one of the suggestions to keep top of mind, because I do think we have notoriously short memories, and let's not feel like we have to do this over again.
And with potential, and you're right, and with potential negative or hard times, subconsciously, we don't want to think about it, and it's human nature. It's not. I don't think it's a bad thing. Like I don't want to remember where I was when,
right,
I just want to go back to what's normal. But by not at least paying it, at least giving it its due. Hey, we can think about it. We're not dwelling on it. We're not harping on it. Think about it, remember it, make sure it doesn't happen again.
Yeah, it's really one somebody told me years ago, it's called preserve the learnings. Let go of the emotion. We can let go of some of the fear, worry, but preserve the learnings. And you have helped us learn so much. Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate you so much, and look forward to finally seeing you in person again sometime soon.
Absolutely. I look forward to that too.
But thank you so much. And thank you all so much for watching another episode of Pop-Up Positivity. Thank you again, Andrew. Is there a way that people can reach you?
My cell phone number, 912-536-5875. And my work email address is abell@myaffinitybank.com. And then
awesome.
Just look for the bald guy running around Forsyth County and abroad. Yeah. Flag me down.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you again so much. We'll look forward to seeing you on another episode of Pop-Up Positivity. Take care, everyone. All right.